Hey, it's PB at Night, episode 45. It's, what is it, April 6th?
April 11th.
April 18th, 2011.
Yeah, you know, Jay, we're really happy that we've got Chad Hallberg joining us from chadhallberg.com and twitter.com/chadhallberg. Came across Chad on, just through social media on Twitter and YouTube. We're going to be talking about his story and how he uses social media through his real estate consulting job, and how he's using Twitter to maybe, explore some other ventures as well. So it's all coming up next on PB at Night, episode 45. Sweet. Yeah, it's episode 45, Jay. As you guys already know, we're going to talk to Chad Hallberg. Chad, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Have a now sunny-ish Seattle day. Just had like 20-mile-an-hour winds with heavy rain in the 40s. Now it's looking like it's pushing 60. So excited to get outside at some point.
Right. Most of the time, a time zone difference is not our friend here at the pbcasttv studios, but it works out great because we're doing this show 7 p.m. Central Time, and it's actually the end of your workday, essentially, correct? Out there on the Pacific Coast?
It is. Today's the last day of tax day. I do enough tax stuff that I may be here late anyway, but it is 5 o'clock my time. Okay.
And we don't want to keep Chad too long because...
he's expecting.
Yeah, it's your third child, right?
This is. My wife's not due for another week or two, end of next week, but she called me about a half hour ago and she said, I hope your interview goes well, but also possibly a little quickly. So
I gotcha.
Things may be progressing. We're not sure. Nothing to call the hospital about by any stretch yet. So don't worry about that.
Sweet. Yeah. Chad, really interesting. Chad's got a great story. He does a video series, kind of like, Jay, you do daily vlogs, but it's just of your day. Well, Chad does a semi-daily vlog where he just, talks about different things in social media as well as real estate and just business overall. And he calls that 365 Days of Crushing It. Like the Crush It book, Gary Vaynerchuk's Crush It. I've read it. It's a great book. We've talked about it a good bit here on PB TV. I think it came out in 2009, right, Chad? I think that was.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, he's got a new book out now. I wouldn't call it a sequel, but it's like it's the next in the series, kind of discussing how to treat your users and how to treat your not users. What am I looking for? Yeah, audience and things like that.
Clients,
and
sure.
Yeah, and thanking them because we've come so far from now. We were talking about this the other day that if you want support from Dell. You can't get it for the $700 that you're going to pay for your laptop. You got to pay for $50, $100 just to get even like decent support nowadays.
Right.
And that used to be free. That's some of the things that Gary talks about. You actually have to hustle, give your time. Chad has a blog, 365daysofcrushingit.com. Also chadhallberg.com. Now, Chad, how I wanted to have you on because you're kind of in an interesting field, and talking to you on the phone, it was an interesting conversation.
Sure.
So I think you said that you do real estate consulting, correct?
Correct. So I am very much integrated into the real estate field, but what I do daily, I don't know how clean it is looking back, but right over here over my left shoulder is our company name, 1031 Exchange Coordinator. So the tax code says in Section 1031 that you can defer taxes if you're buying and selling investment properties. So that's the kind of the gravy train of our company. That's what we do. But a lot of what we do really is real estate and real estate tax consulting. So I don't personally help people buy and sell real estate as your regular realtor. I have great referrals for that, but I don't do that myself. But we help realtors, attorneys, CPAs, clients, and users to be able to really work in a tax-savvy manner to get their real estate in such a way that fits lifestyle, financial goals at this stage of their lives, and the economy the way it is. So we're really consultants that focus in a very niche portion of things within the real estate sphere. Even it's quite niche.
Okay. Now, I wanted to have you on for a couple of reasons, but one is, Gary Vaynerchuk talked about a guy that was using Twitter. This is in Crush It. We're probably going to reference Crush It a good bit. I think it was in...
Sure.
I can't remember. It was somewhere in Canada. I think it might have been Vancouver, Ontario, somewhere pretty major.
Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver. So it's a pretty big real estate market. But he had actually talked about how he was using like YouTube to do different. And once again, I know you're not directly associated with real estate, but you get the gist of what we're talking about. He was using.
And one thing that I don't want to break your stream of thinking,
go
but
ahead.
really I am quite heavily involved with real estate because realtors are my best friend. They're my best referral source. So
Right.
I all the time get badgered with, hey, you're a regular user and you have regular needs. What sort of stuff do you want to see? What sort of things like that? So to a great degree, I'm a user experience analyst as well for a lot of realtors who are tech savvy. So anyway, so let's go forward with Vancouver, BC guy. I'm sorry.
Right. And he was using different social media, different web outlets to do, to grow his brand essentially, and that's what a lot of people focus through Twitter and YouTube and things. Especially, Gary, he grew his wine business through a lot of it through Twitter and his website. He's one of the first guys to get on the web with wine in like 1996 or 97. But he was talking about this guy. He was using YouTube to do tours of every single house that he put on the market, and he was using Twitter to build a localized group of social media followers, which is an interesting topic because, very much so, even though we're kind of seeing it with the downturn in the economy, but also with the uprising of Twitter and Facebook and things, you're seeing more non-localized realty, if that makes sense, sort of. I mean, you're seeing more realty growing outside of, like, Jacob and I are based in Birmingham, Alabama. Used to you just see Remax and Realty South or whatever selling houses here, but now they may grow into Atlanta or somewhere and use Twitter and Facebook and things to do that. Now, we talked on the phone a little bit before, I think it was about a week ago, that there's some interesting stories of people that actually do realty, but through a more nationwide aspect, and that would be interesting. And I wanted to get your take on how, like, someone that was trying to get into realty or trying to even do consulting like you do, consulting much easier, like brand consulting and things, you could do that on Twitter, but I'd like to get your take on how you think social media affects realty and different aspects of business that is normally localized but can be outsourced to the web and can be outsourced to help grow your brand and things on Twitter.
Sure. So I think this is going to take off a lot of my friends who I know real estate wise nationally. I was telling you this a little bit, Nick, when we talked last week, that I really think if you're a local realtor in Alabama, in Seattle, Washington, wherever you be, your focus needs to be on your clients, right? Because in game, I can churn out a ton of social media, and unless it's just a fun thing for me that I'm not looking for business, this is all business. This all needs to be business-based and client-producing. So if I'm focused solely with chatting with anybody and everybody that's not at all within any sort of fungible state where I could connect, get clients based out of that, it's not really worth it. I think some realtors would say, hey, I'm getting to know these people nationally because, one, it's great education for me, kind of batting ideas around. We can chat more about secret Facebook groups that I will say are probably the number one thing that are going right now for best bang for my buck right now, way better than Twitter is secret Facebook groups. But that's, we can chat more about that. But all these people who are local that seek out more national attention, I think there's several reasons that you could make money on it. One is to become a speaker at these national sort of events, and there's some people who do that really well. Daniel Rothmel, Nicole Nicolay, Dale Chumbley, Jay Thompson, Michael McClure. I could go on. There's probably about 100, 150 that are kind of the national demigods of real estate. But those people are here and there. They're going to be speaking nationally, and I don't know that they net a huge fee by any stretch of the imagination, but they're more education-minded people. But the people that I see that are really doing well, have a buddy at Real Scott Thomas, who's a local Seattle area realtor, who he's in a really small rural area, about half hour, 45 minutes out of Seattle, called Duval. And so it's a market that's not super tech savvy in the sense of downtown Seattle or Silicon Valley. However, he's got probably about 600 followers, not a huge group, but what he does is he has made himself become the social media expert and the Duval expert on anything and everything technology. Everything that's technology or fun tweet up, meet up sort of base, he's in some way sponsoring, putting together, or at least putting on a community calendar. He has a DuvalLiving.com that he uses really well for the small community, kind of to be a grassroots, recognize the community. So what happens is, in a one-off transaction, he is becoming the community expert. Well, people want to buy real estate from the community expert, the person who has all the ins and outs with all of the schools, with all of the neighborhoods, with anybody and everybody, all the shops. So that's why you see so many 365 type sites that are all about restaurants and those sorts of things. So I think you need to stay local. In my mind, if I'm a local realtor, if I ever become a realtor in the state of Washington, I'm going to not lose my national friends, but I'm not going to at all focus my conversations on Twitter, on Facebook, on my sites, on the national things. Maybe I'll do it to draw a little bit of numbers, get some unique visitors, but beyond that, there's not a huge play. For me, there's a really big play to be national because 1031 exchange in nature, those are national in scope. So I've got lots of national friends that are, there's a great reason why I chat with them, and it is because I need business from them. In long and the short of it, of course, I'm going to be friends first and foremost and have relationships. But at the end of the day, there's that quid pro quo of, hey, I'm the guy who can do all of your 1031 exchanges, but more importantly, I can look at anything real estate tax-wise specifically, but also greater real estate complexities, and I can strategize with you, blue sky, and also get into really get into strategy of things. So that's a really long-winded answer to say, keep it simple, stupid. I think the KISS principle is huge. Keep it very local if you're a local realtor.
Okay. And, I understand that you want to keep it local, but if anything, I think you did kind of hit on Facebook a little bit. I think Facebook is much more localized than Twitter because, Twitter is one of those things like Jacob doesn't have, hardly anyone nowadays has a private Twitter account. So Jacob doesn't have to grant me access to his Twitter information. You didn't have to grant me access to your Twitter information, but yet I think Facebook's more of an intimate relationship. A lot of times you'll know that the owner of that real estate agency or something. And I understand that Facebook can go national and things, but if anything, I think Facebook would be a nice hybrid for something like that, where it's still on the internet and you're still out there, and it's still accessible, I guess you could say, via a nationwide, even worldwide medium, but it's more localized, if that makes any sense. Because most of my Facebook friends, I think I have like maybe 10 Facebook friends that aren't localized to like the South or even the U.S. or something. So let's chat a little bit about Gary Vaynerchuk always talks about the essence of building relationships, and I know that a lot of things in real estate is completely centered around building relationships, and not only real estate. Jay, you were talking about the other day that your IT company that you work for, some relationships that they had with suppliers for the Point Grey lens that we were using. So many different aspects of business rely on relationships, whether it's through person to person, which I still think is the greatest engagement point, even though we have Twitter and Facebook and things. But Chad, I know you do like taxes for people and consulting. Would you not say that probably your greatest tool is relationships and just the spoken word and talking to people and building friendships and things with people around you to help your business grow?
Yeah, the one-word answer is yes. But the great equalizer is sitting behind a computer. Everyone looks like a pro, right? All you have to do is copy and paste from Wikipedia, and you can look pretty darn smart, or wherever your sources may be. But there's that belly-to-belly relationship that's huge. Kind of case in point, there's a buddy of mine in Chicago, John Ziemba, who he's a commercial real estate broker. I obviously do what I do. You already know that. I've already said that. But he he just asks me every once in a while just really like oddball questions like, hey, can you do this with this and this? And can you do this and this and this? And that relationship is strengthening. And I think this goes a little bit back more to the power of Twitter. So he's local, he's Chicago, and he's getting some pub from he and I having this interaction on Twitter. Most of these interactions are on Twitter, sometimes email, but for the most part, we both try to keep it public. But it's getting that niche specialization, that power there. So that totally, I don't know if that totally answers your question, but yeah.
So another thing I found very interesting, you can always just be on Twitter. We're all over the place because of the things we do. YouTube suits our what we do. Yeah, medium, whatever, very well because there's such a big pool. We get a ton of hits just because we put in there, tech or whatever. But I really like the fact that you do video blogs, and you do focus it on your day-to-day life, but you also get like many nuggets, I guess you could call them, like business tips and things. And they're not only things that you can apply to real estate, but I see a lot of different people who are business consultants and things. You can apply that. Gary Vaynerchuk's books, he always mentions it doesn't matter if you're trying to build a tech website. It doesn't matter if you're a hometown brewery. It doesn't matter if you own a Mexican restaurant. Whatever, you can use these mediums and things. Kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that have been going on right now. I was watching one of your videos, and we talked about that you were going to make a video, the pivots video. Yep. And then also, I don't want to get like too personal, but I think you had said that you're like a contracted worker per se, and you're going to be exploring other job opportunities and things, and I think that would be an interesting thing to follow along with. And in a place, I know this is completely off topic, but in a time frame that it's so hard to get, like nobody's hiring, and especially if you were in a let's just say that Jacob, Lord willing, didn't, but let's just say he lost his job tomorrow, it would probably be hard to find the same exact field of work that was paying him the same exact wages and everything. Maybe some tips on how people can use, maybe not social media, but just how people can seek out a new job. And like Gary Vaynerchuk says, let's just say that you're working in realty, you're working in consulting, and that's not your passion. Maybe, I don't know, fishing's your passion or something. You can work on something at night while you're still doing your job searches. I'd like to talk to you a little bit, just about that, and how you would recommend maybe somebody who's out of work, maybe like, I don't know, finding a new job or something. Sure.
So, yeah, so you're right. I did have a contracted position. So I've been with the company about summer of 2005 I started. It was really full force for a good year. Then I went and did my law degree and MBA, but I was still doing some more biz dev stuff, not necessarily client-facing work, but a lot of biz dev and bigger strategy for the business pivot point type work. And then over this last year, I was called up by the owner of the company. He said, hey, I'm going to take on with another firm here in about a year. The new owner is going to purchase. He already has a purchasing owner in place, but it was going to take a year to get taken care of. And he said, so I want you to come and run the company, essentially day-to-day operations of the company, and come help me out. So took him up on that offer. And so I've known from day one that this was a time-limited contract. That is where 365 Days of Crushing It really came from. I had a lot of thoughts. I was like, man, this is an awful hard market to get into. I don't think I'm being too over the top when saying it's not uncommon to be one of like 500 or 600 people applying for the same job. If it's a job worth its salt, there's multiple hundreds that are applying for this job, right? Or any given job. So my thinking was, okay, I really enjoy social media. I really enjoy real estate. And this is thinking back in about last December. So at the time, I enjoy social media. I enjoy real estate. I've been able to meet a lot of wonderful people who, shoot, I'd love to work for them, or just I like their style. I'd love to partner up with them, those sorts of things. But at the time, I didn't know really what I wanted to do within real estate. Did I want to try and somehow make it go and like turn this company around so much, or get this company so profitable that I'm with now that I could weasel my way in to stay with the company? Did I want to do that? Did I want to partner up with somebody else? Did I want to a degree, take a step back and not run the operations of a company anymore and just go out as general consultant? I didn't know what I wanted to do. Also, do I want to be a realtor? But I knew that I loved Gary Vaynerchuk's Crush It idea. The book was wonderful, so many nuggets there, but more than that, just his lifestyle and getting to know him within social media, getting a flavor for who he is and watching his videos and interacting with him some, I really recognized I like that. That's something I can glob onto. So that's where the genesis of the 365 days of crushing it came from. A buddy of mine, Dale Chumbley, who's kind of in the real estate world, he's the most well known for the 365 idea. He had ClarkCountyRealEstateGuide.com. I forget the little redirect URL he had for 365, but ClarkCountyRealEstateGuide.com. Wonderful realtor, Dale Chumbley, and I thought, okay, I'm going to combine these two things. And the whole premise of it was, was to have a pattern of good stuff out on the web, so that any place I'm going to worth their salt is going to Google me at least, right? And say, okay, and that's why I made my site 365daysofcrushingit.com. It redirects directly to chadhallberg.com.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care to be, this dual purpose, dual entity individual. I wanted it to be quite open that, hey, this is just me. This is who I am. I'm not necessarily representing my company. I am marketing manager for our firm, but this is not 100% company. This is me. First and foremost, I own this content, which is a huge thing that a lot of people don't recognize. You have to own your content, so that all of my 365 stuff is transportable to A, B, C, or D company that I go with or partner up with. All of that's completely transportable. So looking for a job, me and anybody going forward, you have to have a home base. So you have to have your own website, and just Google how do I get my own website, and you can figure out hosting and all of that jazz and themes. That's not a problem. For me, it's what content could I feel that I could be giving good content that people would want to see, and that a potential hiring person would not think, oh crap, I don't want Chad on my team, if he looks at all this stuff. And not only that, but he would think, yeah, Chad's really going to add a lot of value. So I think that what these do, they give me entrees into doors that I wouldn't otherwise have. I can come to them much more as an equal and say, hey, here's who I am, here's what I've done, all these unique views, all these interviews, all these talks, all these people I've met, and work I do for people makes me look a lot better than the other 499 people that have the same exact resume. 'Cause no matter how cutesy your resume is, it's not going to be different. If everyone's generally qualified, let's say that from the 500 they winnow it down to 250 that are actually qualified for the job. You're still one of 250, so you've got to get yourself over and above that. And that doesn't talk at all about the one-on-one real relationships. But I really wanted a video blog for I guess 3 reasons. First and foremost was everything I read and everything I saw and everything I recognized was video is up and coming, and search within video is so great now that it's not like you have to stuff a paragraph or 2 below each post to talk about whatever your video was so that people would recognize the video. Video was coming along so well that I could actually create video and have it be substantive and good. The second thing was that I wanted future employers or partners to see me, and see me when it was day 39, when kind of the newness was off and it was beyond the interview sort of stage. It was really who I am and what I bring to the table. Because I'm probably not the world's best at absolutely anything. However, I am me, and I think I'm kind of unique. I think you're kind of unique. Everyone's kind of unique, right? And so I wanted people to see who I am, the real me. So that's a big reason why I wanted to do video. And the third was, for me, it's a lot quicker and easier for me to just sound off in video. Sometimes I have to do a second take because I get too long-winded or too off track. But for the most part, I've kind of narrowed it down, and I'm getting pretty good at just putting together, 2 to 7 minutes, depending on the need of things. Generally 2 to 4 minutes, but sometimes bigger posts. And it really works for my lifestyle and what I want to do. And so it's if an employer can't accept that, that's not for me.
So,
Sweet.
so one of the things, just hitting on this once again is, like you said, you could go in there. There's 500 people vying for the same job that you are, wanting.
Yeah.
I would. I mean, I have no job experience at all. I'm a sophomore in high school. Jacob, you could probably get into this sort
I've
of,
had a couple jobs.
Yeah. But I think you have to separate yourself, and it's becoming to the point now where, everybody in that room has either the same an education that is very comparable to yours, or even higher than yours, and I think you're going to have to differentiate yourself in a way that is not, maybe not even on the job field. Like, somebody just simply Google searching your name could bring up, hundreds of different episodes that you've done from, let's just say that they Google search for Chad Hallberg. I'm sure that one of the first links is going to be your website, and they're going to see 106 videos that you've produced, and that's one of the interesting things that I look for. Anytime I can watch a video instead of reading a 2,000-word write-up on a tech product review or something, I'd always do it. I want to talk about video for a second. Jacob and I, Jacob just bought a $1,500 camera that we're going to be using pretty soon. So that tells you right there that we automatically that we value video a whole lot.
Yep.
I think video, it gives a more intimate experience. A lot of people still like the audio, the radio deal, and we still release in audio formats from time to time, but we've literally put all of our time, most of our time, most of our efforts into video production. We just got the green screen and everything. And I think you're right. Jacob and I, we're, by the end of the summer, we're looking at producing, 6 or 7 shows a week, almost a show every day, most of them being an hour, 30 minutes to an hour long. So now, granted, that takes a lot of post-production time, but there's no way that you could filter all of those things that we talk about into like a blog post or something, just with words and things and pictures or whatever.
Not at all.
So I think, YouTube is, I saw some statistics from last year that Google released. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world behind Google. And, honestly, if I was going to, Jacob and I were talking about today, if I was going to root my Android phone, I didn't go to Google and search how to do it. I went to YouTube because I want to see somebody show me how to do it and walk me through it, step by step on video. And I think you've really hit on that, especially going with YouTube, but also going with a video medium. Jeff, you got anything you want to add?
I just think it's cool that you're getting yourself out there and sticking with it every day. And hey, I know how it is to have an everyday episode of something. It can wear on you some days. You don't feel like doing it some days, but you push through.
That's right. So you're good because you 100% are keeping up. I'm sure all my buddies who do these 365 real estate sites, they do it, and they're like, they always tell everyone, don't ever do a 365 site because it's just like day 40 you realize, oh crap, what have I gotten myself into? And there's times where there's ebb and flow and you realize this is kind of a not so awesome post, but I just have to get something out. If I don't, like, my world ends, right? I've taken a bit of a different approach solely because I guess it started on day 10. I got stuck in the Charlotte airport for 26 hours. Red eye from Seattle to Charlotte, supposed to have an hour layover up into New York for a conference I was going to with like an hour layover, and ended up being 26, 28 hours, and it was just awful experience and no internet connection at all. There were just thousands of people, and so the internet was totally overstuffed. And so I couldn't do it that day, and I about lost my cookies. I was like, I am screwed. It's day 10 or 11 and I am screwed, and I'm such this hypocrite and liar. So what I've done really is sometimes I'll miss things, but if I don't have a really good reason to be missing things, I will make sure that I do something. Yeah. But what I'll do is the day after I miss, I'll say, here's why I didn't do it. And generally it's for crushing it reasons, whatever you want to call it. That it's this pivot post that I did most recently, I think it was on day 105, sounds about right, was kind of saying, here's why I've been gone for 2 weeks. I had to figure out what in the world do I want to do with myself, and I really had to figure it out. It wasn't just oh, hey, what do I want to do with myself? I've been doing that for months, and it was just, I have to step away totally and to really get away. And that really has made all the difference in the world. So I'm slowly but surely getting back into social media, but I don't think I'll be anywhere nearly as active in my posts on Twitter and whatnot. And my posts, I think, are going to get a lot higher kind of quality of frequency to effectivity rate will be much higher. So
awesome.
I don't know.
You know, Jacob is he's got a very interesting passion. So Jacob, how much did your MakerBot cost?
All in all, probably about $1,200.
Yeah, so Jacob is into personal 3D printing, which essentially you melt down plastic, a plastic substance, and it prints out something that he has designed in 3D. So essentially, if he wanted to, he could recreate this mouse on his computer by drawing it up in a program and print it out an exact replica of it. Now, it wouldn't be functional exactly. I mean, you can make it functional if you wanted, but it would be a plastic shell. And that's an interesting niche as well as real estate on the internet and things. But that's one of the things that, you know, I admire Jacob for is he's so passionate about that, and he, you know, he makes different videos. They're not, his daily videos aren't focused around that, but Jacob does an interesting thing on YouTube where he vlogs every single thing that he does. Well, not every single thing, but every single thing that he finds interesting that people would be interested in. He carries around a flip cam and he archives his life. And what are you're almost to day 100, right?
Yeah, actually, I think it's this weekend.
It's day 96 or day 94 or something right now.
I'm up to like 95 or something. I'm right behind you.
Nice. Well, mine started January 1.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I'm just a little bit behind, but yeah, it's really interesting to do a daily thing because I mean. It's so much content. If you put it all together, it's tons and tons of content. And just the fact that, you know, you sort of sit back and you're like, wow, I've actually done all of this. And you're just sitting there, you're like, you know, yeah, mine's not probably nowhere near as, you know, I guess content or knowledgeable stuff, but you know, mine's just sort of like, oh, I'm going to the work now, and I'm sleepy as anything, and you know, whatever. But I mean, it works out really well because it gets you to stay, I guess you could say, sociable, even though you're, you know, not actually like really directly socializing with, you know, people on the internet, but it gets you out there and lets you, you know, I guess hone your skill of whatever that might be. So
right. You know, that makes me think of, so when I started really getting heavy into social media, thinking, okay, this is something that well, I guess in our company we didn't have a ton of funds to go out for marketing. We threw a bunch of money into our website, some videos, professionally made videos, and I was fine with it. But I mean, now today I could probably recreate 75% of that myself, but you know, that just takes time and whatnot. But I really wasn't thinking, okay, I need to keep creating all this content, because I thought, sweet, everyone makes all this content, or like a few people, like 10-20% of people make content, and then everyone just retweets it, and it just makes you look like you're actually doing something.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, okay, that has some traction. After a while I realized, okay, I'm getting looked at a little bit, but my site, people aren't coming back to my site because it's not redirecting to my site, it's redirecting to Joe Blow's site. It's, you know, it's not helping me in my bottom line. It's making me look a little bit like a hero and a little bit smart because, oh, hey, that Joe Blow is really smart or whatever. Yeah. But once I started actually putting some good content together and stringing it together, the numbers just spoke for themselves. So I think there's a huge balance. You have to kind of prop up other people's stuff so that people realize, oh, he's not just talking about himself 24/7, and he's well read and this, that, and the other, and is plugged in, and you know, those conversations that are had with the author and other people who like those articles or whatnot. But I found that as I create content, I've gotten thousands of percent whatever better response. Oh, and much, you know, I'm seen much more as the expert as opposed to the guy who's just kind of the and one sort of, oh, pass it on. Oh, pass it on.
Yeah.
So now when I still do my, oh, pass it on, there's more higher level to that. And it's hard to do that. It's not hard to do it once, but it's hard to do it a lot of times. Right. It's hard to consistently make and create content.
Yeah.
But I like what you guys are doing. I like that. For one, there's no fear. For two, there's just you guys are really consistent. And if you stay with your consistency, wherever you're at, you're recognized online. Your clout, whatever you want to call it, is going to be there for the opportunities are going to be there. And there's a lot to be said for just a real transparency. You have to set boundaries for what you don't want people to see, and I think that's where you get into Facebook and kind of dark web and whatever, all that stuff. But if you're transparent and you are yourself, which I love, like your guys' video, like this specific video, my videos are sometimes rambling wrecks in my mind for myself. I'm not saying your guys as well. Mine are rambling wrecks at times. Those generally get the most traction. Those generally say, wow, that was interesting. You went off on this tangent. I meant to say A, B, and C, and I ended up with X, Y, and Z. And it's you never know. It's interesting how people work, but I think we're all voyeurs to a great degree, and so we want to see how people really interact and who they are and what they're all about. That's why we have such this, like any celebrity that gets on Twitter, like instantly they have like hundreds of thousands of followers because everyone wants to know, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And to a much lesser degree, people want to know what normal people are doing. So video gives you the ultimate transparency to that, in my mind. I think little quick, pithy 140 characters, that's fine. But the real, here's who I really am, that's video. There's no doubt in my mind, video is going to 100% change everything. 100%.
Yeah, and I actually like, I'm mainly doing like my life, what I do every day. Mm-hmm. So like, it got to the point where I was sort of like, maybe being a little annoying on Facebook or Twitter or something, and I was maybe posting a little too much. And but now a video, it's like it's just one thing out there, and you're just like, hey, if you guys want to watch this, here it is. Yeah. And it works out really well, just because, you just I don't know, it just to me it helps my my abilities to be more social, I guess.
Yeah, no, certainly. I've every time I post a video, I'll load it and then I'll like my own video. Not the video itself, usually on YouTube, but when I put it into onto this, when I embed it, do the embed code and whatnot, put it in, and then publish my post for that day, I'll instantly like the post.
Right.
And on my Facebook little whatever social plugin, I'll like it, and then I'll refresh my page, and within 30 seconds I'll have 1 to 5 likes. For one, that tells you the fleeting value of these links and edge rank and all that stuff. But for two, it tells you people really want to know. People really want to engage with you. And as much as a like doesn't mean they actually saw it because it's all within 30 seconds, it builds clout. It makes me feel good. Probably most important for that day. But for two, it like makes you look like you're a pro, because end goal for me is I want to be in the right position, employment-wise. Whether it's partnering, whether it's whatever, that I have my end goal. I know my strategy, and these are my tactics to get there.
Yep.
So,
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
And I think Jacob is one of the most interesting, I guess you could say, like, examples of transparency, because I know it's hard for Jacob to put his whole life on Facebook, or not Facebook, sorry, YouTube.
Well, it is on Facebook
well,
too.
True, but yeah. And you've told me, this is one of the last things I wanted to hit on, is doing a vlog, 12-minute, most of the time, 10 to 12-minute video now, it really lets you encompass everything that you would normally do. So, like, Jeb, if you finished a project, a 3D project or something, you'd usually post it to Flickr and Twitter and things. But now you're just like, hey, I'll save it to the vlog. And I think that's very interesting, because not only have you just seen the final product, but, just in your example, if you made something, you see the whole,
Yeah, it's like a review built into a vlog now. And
yeah.
And it also, I find that it actually brightens up my mood a little, just because, you're sitting there driving on the road or something. I mean, it's kind of bad to vlog while you're driving. Kids, don't do that at home.
I was wondering, do you have like a little perch it sits on, like a little holster thing, or do you just kind of hold it out? And
it's actually my hand and my knee. It's
so glad I don't live in Alabama.
Yeah, and it's real fun when I get hungry in the morning and want to eat some breakfast, because I go about 75 miles one way every morning. So
Oh.
You know, it's a pretty good drive, and it's early in the morning before the sun comes up, and so yeah, it gets pretty interesting. But sometimes I'm like coming home, I might have had a bad day at work or something, and it's just like the vlogs or just any kind of video post that you might do makes you your mood get lifted, because it's like you can't. I mean,
fake it, kinda.
you can be transparent, but sometimes you sort of got to not put up a front, but you know, you don't want to be like, oh, I'm all mad, and you know.
Yeah.
But there are times that you are like that, because you know,
like today was a good time, because you know I'm all like, you know, all sick and junk, and you know, work was retarded, and it's Monday, but you know, so
Okay, now Jacob, here's my question for you. What does your work say? Because you said, yeah, work and junk, and that's why you're mad a little bit. What does work say? Are they pro, con? Do they know? What's their take on things?
Well, see, the thing about it is, I work at an army depot, like a military base. So I technically can't really videotape on the base. So I tend to not to. So it's my vlogs in the beginning of them typically consist of like going to work. Okay, now I'm going back home. There is like a big gap in there, and I wish I could do more content, because hey, there's some funny things that go on at work. I'm just saying, you know.
And technically, you're kind of like Chad. You are contracted out to that place, so you know it can always happen that it could be. But
yeah.
But it's a good media, good medium to put your thoughts, you know, get them out of your head. And hey, I'm like probably majority of the population. Well, not majority, but a lot of the population where, you know, if I'm thinking about something, I don't want to have to sit there and write it down or go like, you know, whatever. I just turn on the vlog and hey, there it is. I'm telling everybody else about it too, and you know, it works out really well in the end of the day.
No, I'm with you.
So Chad, thanks for joining us. I don't want to keep you too long, since you do have other pretty important engagements that could be going down. But you know, maybe we can have you on again soon. Talk about, you know, right now, different things are the hot thing. Twitter's a hot thing. Facebook, you know, really hot thing. Also, you know, social coupons. That's an interesting medium. Also, but video, really right now, like we said, we're putting all of our focus on video into it right now, because we think that's going to be big, and it already is big. But you know, next 3 or 4 years, you know, something completely different could be big. So very interesting to track. That's one of the reasons I like Gary. He tracks a lot of those different things. You know, he's got a very, I don't know how to say it. He has an eye for things that are trending and what's going to be up next. You know, he predicted that Tumblr would be huge before anybody even knew what it was. Many different things. He knew that the internet was going to be big as soon as he saw it. Anyway, but
you know, the Tumblr thing, maybe because he's very heavily invested.
True.
Just saying. But I have seen their stats. They have actually gone up, so that's good.
Yeah, true. Well, you can find Chad on Twitter, twitter.com/Chad Hallberg, ChadHallberg, and then you can also follow his videos that consist of not only, you know, what he's done. You know, I have noticed you do tend to put some things, you know, if you went to I think one day you said you went to the park or something with your family or something. I always like that, because it kind of gives like a little personal aspect to it. But then he also talks about, like, here's day 106, which I believe was from Saturday or yesterday. I can't remember.
That was Saturday. Yesterday I was a slacker.
Right. Take a social media break. You know, it's really fun. Yeah. And, you know, Jay, it is kind of I can see it can be a stretch to watch something like this interview that's going to, by the time we it's post-produced and everything, it's going to be 40, 45 minutes. But, you know, good video. It's a great video. You know, you just sit down, like you said, most of the time. Hopefully it's one take, and, you know, 6 to 8 minutes of just constant, you know, informative, great things. That's one of the reasons I like Gary. You know, even though I'm not even close to, you know, I'm 2 years away from even, or 3 or 4. Anyway, I don't even, you know, I'm not even legally allowed to drink wine. I don't even care about the wine that Gary talks about on his shows, honestly. I mean, I think it's interesting what he talks about, but I literally watch because Gary is such an interesting person, you know, so I can see somebody who doesn't even care about 3D printing, or that Jacob, you know, is drinking a Monster right now, but they still want to watch Jacob because he's got a good personality and they're interested in, you know, what's going on.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I don't drink wine myself either. I'm exactly with you. But we're voyeurs. I think we're big time voyeurs. But also we are voyeurs. We consume voraciously content, and we're really, really good at it. Our BS meter is flying off the charts good. And the younger the people, the better. Right. Your BS meter really is. I mean, think of your parents, and specifically think of your grandparents. I can't think of how many times my grandparents have been scammed on stupid stuff that's like, how dare you even think that was real? You know, whereas still it's, you know, it's gone down to the point of just things are so transparent, and the ability is there to be so transparent that it's amazing. Yeah. So it's really amazing.
Well, Chad, thanks for joining us. I know it was kind of hard pressed to get you on, but I was pretty amazed on how fast, you know, you responded and everything. And I think I contacted you last week. We had you on this week. So, great talking to you. You know, you can follow Jacob on Twitter, twitter.com/freakinhuge, FREAKINHUGE, YouTube by the same name. That's where you can find his vlogs and things as well. You can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/ThatNickJones. And then also pbcasttv.com, youtube.com/pbcasttv, where all of our videos are posted. And if you're watching live, you want to kind of, you know, subscribe or just see this video in the final format. It'll be up in about 3 hours. So especially the people over in your time zone, Chad, shouldn't be hard for them to catch the video. It's kind of a late post for here. You know, we always don't get the best numbers, especially for the quick hits. But you know, at least that's honestly where we wanted to go, calling it PB at Night. It's released the same day and everything, but. This video will be up in a couple hours on YouTube as well as our site, pbcasttv.com. But yeah, Chad, it's been fun, and like I said, love to have you back on. Really admire what you're doing, you know, throughout the internet and everything, and keep it up, and hope the newborn comes well.
Well, she hasn't come yet. I've checked my phone a couple times. I've had a couple little tweets and some different texts and whatnot, but no baby yet. So we're good to go. But thanks for having me, guys. It's great. These conversations are great to have, and I'm glad we're able to put it in a printable, you know, kind of a final format sort of thing. And I'm glad that you're putting it out tonight because hey, this is my post, day 107. So this is great.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us here on PB at Night. We do the show Mondays and Thursdays right now. And if you'd like to join us tomorrow, if you're a regular viewer, we're going to have a brainstorming session. Talk about some news shows. That's Tuesday, regular 7 p.m. start time. So until next time, guys, I'm Nick Jones.
I'm Jacob Roberts.
And guess we will see you technically tomorrow live, but there won't be an episode. Yeah, and Chad Hallberg. Chad, once again, thanks for joining us. We'll catch you later, guys.
See you.